Hello everyone, I'm Shweta and I'll be your host for this session. Okay. Gaurav, should I start? Yeah. So good afternoon everyone and welcome to the third session on Roundtable Conference of Equinox 2022. I'm Shweta and I'll be your host for this session. Today we have with us some very experienced speakers to help guide our students on what is more beneficial, DSA followed by CP or vice versa. Now, this is a question that almost every student struggles with. So with this session, we hope to finally put an end to all of your doubts. But before that, let me begin by first introducing our panelists. We have with us Mr. Arjun J, who's the president of CodeChef Shastra. Hello, sir, and welcome.
Hello, Shweta. Thank you for introducing me.
Next, we have Mr. Love Joshi, who's an incoming SDE intern at Uber. Hello, sir, and welcome.
Hi, Shweta.
Next, we have Mr. Sumit Verma, sir, who's the software engineer at Google. Hello, sir.
Hello.
So, let's begin the session by addressing the most fundamental question, which is what is DSA and what is CP, and how exactly are they different? So let's begin with Arjun, sir, and then we'll go in that order.
Yeah. So as everybody knows, DSA is basically data success algorithms, and the CP is comparative. So should I be repeating myself? So to answer Shweta's question, I would like to put this into a simple analogy. Like, let us compare competitive programming with international cricket and DSA with domestic cricket. A player coming from domestic cricket newly into international cricket might struggle in his initial days. But a player who comes from international cricket, it will be a cakewalk for him to play with domestic players. So if I'm going to compare, for example, the interviews and cracking product-based companies with what you call IPL auction, in that case, a player who's an international player who is in good form will definitely go for a better price. And we cannot also say that the uncapped players who just play domestic cricket will go unsold in auction. That is also not the case. There are a few players, uncapped players, who go for good price too. So if you are going to do GSA, there is a high chance that you might get placed in product-based companies, and the clearing interview rounds might be easy for you. But still, if you are good at CP, it is just going to be a cakewalk for you to compare to crack product-based companies. Also, some people like me really enjoy doing CP and take it as a sport, and just don't do because they need to crack product-based companies. This is my kind of opinion on CP versus DSA.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next, Sumit sir, would you like to take that?
Yeah, sure. Good answer by Arjun, by the way. To add to that, I would like to say that DSA is more like reading a book. It's more theoretical in nature. You will gain a lot of good knowledge out of it. But to hone your skill, CP would really come into the picture. Like when actually practice out coding all these algorithms and seeing how they are used in different problems. And that's going to really help you in interviews as well. So, yeah. CP is more practical in nature.
Thank you, sir. Love sir, would you
Yeah,
add something?
yeah. Arjun has given a very good example, like how CP is related to cricket. So, like in the data structures and algorithms, we learn about various data structures, like suppose vector, tries, heap. So that are actually very practical to daily scenarios. So, but in CP, if there is a time bound and you have to solve a particular problem and have to compete through all over the world through you have to compete to people that are practicing all over the world, and when you see a single green tick accepted, and that feeling actually pushes you to do much better, uh, that directly or indirectly hones your skill of DSA as well. So according to me, DSA and CP should go hand in hand. And yeah, DSA is CP is a superset of DSA according to me.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next, I would like to, like, all of us would like to know that how exactly did you all start your CP journey, and how did you keep at it? Because at times we do get unmotivated. So, if anyone of you would like to answer that.
Yeah, actually, I started watching videos of some famous YouTubers like Gaurav Sen, Rachit IIT, and what I came to know was CP was very important in a college journey if we are going to look like if we want to crack product-based companies. So that is when I started CP. I came to know about this across somewhere around my third semester, in the beginning of my second year. And then I started CP. The first one that I gave was a long challenge on Code Chef, and I was able to solve just only one question. But still, in my first contest, I was very happy that I was able to compete with others and solve one question. And after that, my viewpoint over CP totally changed. Like as I already said, it was like a game to me. It was so much fun, and I kept on doing it, and I'm still doing it.
Yes. Next, Love sir.
Yeah, actually, in my college there was a technical wing. So the seniors, when we arrived the college in the first semester itself, senior used to take our classes. Sorry, senior used to take our classes on data structures and algorithms, and simultaneously giving us questions on various topics which they used to teach in the class. So after solving those questions and practicing much on Hacker Earth, so in the third month of the college, we landed on CodeChef. Our whole college landed on CodeChef, and we started giving contests on CodeChef, Code Forces, etc. And they also suggested us to do a topic wise problems on Code Forces, so that you can get the real feel of the data structures that you are using in the daily life. So yeah, so this is the way that I started.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sumit sir.
Yeah. So I attended a programming competition by the programming club in my college in third semester. I could only solve one question, but it really interested me. And then our Diwali vacation started the next day. I spent all those 10 days basically trying out various problems on HackerRank, and that's how I got started. And my main motivation was to get into ACM ICPC World Finals. Yeah. And then I wanted to give it my best so that I don't regret it later.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, like a lot of us, we study CP because we want to crack a good interview and get a good placement. So, what role does CP play in your coding career before the interview and post the interview? Love, sir, would you take that?
Yeah, sure. So, like, the CP always inculcates the problem solving and logical skills that are always be helpful, like after the interview or before the interview. So, like, if you're in a company and you are doing some code, then also you have to write an write an algorithm for that. So, if you are not good at CP or matlab, if you're not good at data structures and algorithms, then you are not able to come up with the efficient approach to write that particular part of the code. So like in the before the interview, how it helps, it actually ease the process to get the referral from a person who is there in the company by impressing him slash her with your coding profile, or like sir is an ICPC finalist, so like किसे पसंद नहीं होगा सर को रेफरल देना. So so it actually helps you to get into the company if you are having a good coding profile. And yeah, it actually it actually inculcates the trust into the person if you are good in CP.
Yes. Sumit, sir?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, you gain a lot of trust out of this, and that trust carries over even after the interviews when you join a company. Like let's say your manager would trust you with really hard problems because you have proven that you can solve them in CP. So you get good work. And then when you do good at that good work, you will get even tougher problems. And then if you do good at them, you'll get even tougher problems. So your career will be accelerated in a sense because you are getting this boost out of your initial CP reputation. So that way, it helps you solve the interesting problems even in your job. And of course, CP helps a lot with the interviews. They are generally a cakewalk if you're good at CP, at least the
Yeah.
algorithmic rounds.
Okay, sir. Arjun, sir?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Sumit sir said and which Joshi said. First of all, I would like to say that CP doesn't only help in interviews, like it also helps post interview and even before interviews. Like when I was in my end of my second year, I had nothing, no big projects to put in my resume. The only thing I helped was my achievements in CP. So doing DSA will just improve your problem solving. On the other hand, CP will also help you build your resume. That is the first point. And as of now, I don't have any professional work experience. My first internship will start this summer. But even when I worked in my personal projects, I see that I am able to write efficient code to run those applications. So that is where CP has helped me a lot. So I have also seen people comparing CP with JE mains or JE advanced. They say that JE is just like it helps you get a good college. After that, it is no longer going to help you. But CP is definitely not like that. It doesn't only fetch you good product based roles, but still, even after that, you will be able to think in an efficient manner under time constraints. That is one very good thing about CP, I would say.
And so, like for someone who's trying to crack an interview, what priority should they be giving to CP? Uh, Anyone of you? Sumit, sir?
So if you are already just 1 or 2 months away from the interview, then you don't have enough time to, I think, start with CP at that point. But if you are, let's say, in your third year and you have a few months before your placement, then just spend a lot of time doing all these CP problems and it will make your life really easy during interviews.
And for someone who's just starting out, so like for the first years or second years?
For the first years and second years, again, spend a lot of time with CPs. Also explore other things, but still, like, if you enjoy it, then might as well spend a lot of time at it.
Okay, so Arjun, sir?
Yeah,
Taking
I
it.
would also advise the same to any of my juniors. Like, even if you can do development, that is also really good. But in case of development, you see immediate results. If you are doing development and then you come into CP, you would be a little frustrated because the amount of improvement you see in CP is like exponential. You won't see any linear kind of improvement in your case. So also do development CP and also lead code or DSA side by side, so that you allocate enough time to all of these. Like you cannot keep on doing CP for all the 4 years, and finally when your interview comes, you can't say that I don't have any projects in hand. So you should allocate enough time on CP as well as development. That is what I would say.
Okay, sir. And love, sir?
Yeah, like Arjun had, like Arjun had said, CP doesn't give you the immediate result. CP is like basically the compounding. So it actually you can see the result after some amount of effort you had put into it and after some time. So there should be good weightage in the first or second year if the person is in the initial years of the college. So he or she should practice much on the code forces, code chef problems, up solving after the contest, what he or she is not able to solve during the contest, and like the project. If you can do, then you there should be one project in a good project in your resume that you can talk about the tech stacks and the subjects like operating systems, DBMS, that are very useful, and that should be there in your resume, and you should have a knowledge of both these subjects if you are going into this field.
Okay, sir. Okay. And taking from the beginner thing, for someone who's just starting out, sir, should they prioritize DSA over CP or CP over DSA, or how should they go at it? Like first DSA, then CP, or first CP, then DSA?
Yeah. So according to me, like DSA and CP should go hand in hand. Like suppose you learned an array, then you should solve some problems over various platforms to get the taste, like how array can be used in various scenarios. So reading different problems of over competitive programming platforms helps you to like get the taste of how arrays uses in how array can be used in different scenarios. So if you see that, but if you see any new problem in any coding interview, then there will be no fear like you can't solve it. So according to me, DSA and CP should go hand in hand.
Okay, sir. Sumit, sir, what would you say?
Yeah. Um, so using the cricket analogy, DSA would be like studying DSA would be like practicing your shots in nets, and CP would then be going in the ground and actually performing on them. So you need both of them. If you do a lot of CP and don't do DSA, then you will be stalled and you will be frustrated. If you only do DSA, you will never know how they are used practically. So they're both important.
Okay, sir. And Arjun, sir, you gave that analogy in the starting as well. So if you would elaborate on that.
If not everyone, at least in my case, when I was in my 12th standard, the main mistake that I did during my JE preparation was that I was like, first I will cover the entire syllabus, then start giving tests. So that did not work. And when I came into my college, I was very confident enough that I would not be doing the same mistake again. So I did not be like I will study entire DSA. No one can be perfect in DSA, right?
Yeah.
DSA is a very vast subject. So I started CP and then I started figuring out where I was weak. And then I started practicing those areas when it came to DSA. So you must be attending contests, absolving them, and you should also side by side learn new data structures and algorithms. That is how it is going to work for you.
Okay, sir. And there's this one question that since all of you are so an expert at it, so if given a chance to start over from where you did in the beginning, would you keep it the same or would you change the way you went at it in the entire coding journey?
I want to take the answer first. Like I actually regret of not up solving the problems after the contest. In the first semester, on the second semester, I used to give contests, and the number of problems, like suppose I solved two problems, I had never solved the third problem after the contest. So after 2 years, I saw that my graph was actually not improving because I was only able to solve two problems after each contest. So after that, I tried to solve third contest. My friend suggested me to absolve that contest, absolve that particular problem, so that in the future, if that problem or the C problem of the code forces, so you can see you can do that problem. It gives actually you the motivation if you absolve the contest. And the second point I want to add, you should actually make friends that also do CP. So like you can discuss the various approaches to them after the contest. It actually helps in nurturing various approaches of the same problem. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And Arjun, sir?
Yeah, I actually completely agree with what Love said. Those are the two biggest advices I would give to me if I was a junior of my own. And also, I would like to ask myself to start early. Like I said, I started only in the middle of my second year, and I also advise me to start in the beginning of first year so that I get more time exploring. And one very good thing in CP is having peers, as Love said. So they would like motivate you a lot, and when you have a friendly competition in contest, it would boost your performance, obviously. And another one mistake that I did during my CP journey was that if there are going to be my academic exams, like end semester exams, I would leave like 1 month gap for CP. I would take a break. Then after the exams get over, I would come back to it. And in those cases, what I was able to see was my graph first starts dropping and then it starts rising again after I practice some 1 or 2 months. So it was some repetitive task I was doing. And also, as Love said in the beginning, if you see in most sites, you will be starting from a rating of zero or like 1500. And initially, you will be very happy seeing all contests a positive rating so that you would not start solving problems. Only when you see that negative happens in your graph, you would realize that okay, there is something wrong I did. Then you will start solving that problems. That is few mistakes I did in my competition journey.
Yes. Sumit, sir?
Interesting answers. I actually did a couple of those things right, I guess. Like I used to absolve a lot, and that really helped. And I have given contests even on the days when I had an exam the next day. And one more good thing that I did was I used to make a note of all the mistakes that I did so that I never make them again. So it's like if you make a silly implementation mistake in solving one problem, make a note out of it, and then just promise yourself that you will never do that mistake again. And if you ever discover a new technique or a new algorithm again, note it down so that you don't fail to solve a problem because you didn't know about it. And then on improvements wise, so while doing this code for this contest, I used to ignore, I think, the D and E problems a lot and focus more on A, B, and C because those were more solvable. In hindsight, I think I should have focused more on D and E as well, and then eventually solve them in some contests. Yeah, so some more confidence on solving them would have helped.
Also, I would like to add upon another point. When I initially started, I would like go to code forces. Obviously, code forces will be a nightmare to any beginner who starts competitive programming. I would say that first I would see the A problem. If it is going to be difficult, I will skip that contest. Like it is obviously going to decrease my rating. Why would I solve them? So that is one biggest mistake I would do. Initially, you should never be fond of your ratings. Let it improve or decrease. It is not going to. It should not be bothering you. You should keep on practicing and until your problem solving level is really good.
Yes, sir. You mentioned this, but it's like, how do we stay motivated? Because there are like so many contests happening, and some we do good, and some we perform very bad, and then the rating goes down. So, like, a loss of interest is unavoidable, sir. So, how do we like keep at it?
Like as I mentioned, there should be a competitive group. There should be a group of people who are actually doing the coding contest. So if you are able to solve three problems and somebody in your group has able to solve two problems, so your responsibility is there. Like he or she absolves it and actually make that problem accepted. Okay, so if you had done only two problems, then it's also your responsibility to ask someone like or absolve it. So that only actually, if you are alone, then might be demotivated or leave competitive programming. So yeah, there should be a good competitive group. Try to build in your college among your friends. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Anyone else would like to take that?
You can think that if anyone can solve it, then you can do it. Just that you fail somewhere. Like our thinking can be, you can call your thinking as a DFS in a tree that you are trying to do. And then if you didn't solve a problem, that was because you didn't reach the right leaf and you went into a different path. So next, like train yourself to think about the right direction or the right thinking direction, and then you will be able to solve those problems in the next round. Uh, yeah, and then to help that, your peers will help. You can ask how they come up with the solution, and then you can try matching. Like, okay, your thought process was the same for the first 7 minutes of the problem, but here is where they thought of something better, and you went in the wrong direction. So then you can focus on that part of the problem of the thinking process. So things like that will help.
Okay, sir.
That was actually a wonderful analogy by Sumit sir, putting our thinking way into a DFS. And that is really important. Actually, we need to have clear thinking well problem. Like you should not be in the same approach. Like in contest, time will be running out. So if an approach doesn't work, you should be able to think different approaches. That is one good thing that Sumit has stated. And also, as Love stated, we should be having good peer group. Like it is not like 10 to 15 members. You should keep the group small, like 3 to 7 members in the ideal case. And nowadays, when I attend contest, what I do is I go to my friends' WhatsApp group and I put that I am going to attend today's contest. So seeing that there will be 2 or 3 members who will attend, they also do the same case, which might motivate me in some days. Like few days, I would be like, okay, let's leave this contest, let's attend next week. But if my friend is going to ping me saying that I am going to attend today's contest, okay, I will get motivated and go attend that contest. And as Love initially stated, that green tick is going to be a wonderful dopamine booster, which will keep on boosting you to attend more and more contests.
Okay, sir. And sir, like now that you all have a little bit of working experience and a lot of expertise, so would you say that CP has helped you with your job? In Of course it has. So in how many ways and in like how exactly?
I can take that.
Yes.
So it has 100% help. Like a couple of months ago, I was trying to solve an issue in Google where I had to debug that a machine was going out of memory, and then there was some instruction in the code that was causing that, and then it was so rapid that there were no logs, nothing to like track it back. And then how do you solve this problem now? Because there is nothing that you can go for. There is no debug information available. There is no starting point. So one way to solve this problem is you can binary search your code itself. Like let's say comment out the second half of your code and then run it again. Is it still causing out of memory issues or not? And then if it's doing, then you again do basically you're doing a binary search on the code to find the line that is causing out of memory issues. So like you can come up with creative ways to use DSA and CP even in the job, definitely, and then solve those problems more efficiently than others.
Okay, sir. So there's a question in the chat which is like, sir, what will be the start? Like, how would we start CP or DSA after we know the basics of CPP? So, Love, sir, would you take
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I think if anyone knows the basics of CPP, then he or she should go to the Hacker Earth and try some basic problems so that he or she can understand like what are the inputs and what are the outputs and how actually the problem statement looks like. So after that, try to giving contest like Arjun has given the first contest, the long challenge. So try to give the long challenge. And see how many problems you have done and also upsolve the next problem. So yeah, starting from the hacker rank or hacker earth, if you know the basics, is the good way according to me.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
exactly. If you know the basics of some language, it like let it be CPP or Java or Python, you're really good to go in CP. Like some people will inherently be having good problem solving skills. They need not know complex algorithms to solve problems. They will inherently have good problem solving skills. So when you go give a contest like long challenge, or as Love said, if you go to Hacker Earth or Hacker Rank and start solving problems, you will get to know where you stand. After that, that will keep you going in the CP journey. You need not like wait, study all DSA, then okay, let's go to CP. That is not the case. So you start CP and it will keep on helping you to grow further.
Yeah. And then to add to that, if you are doing a long contest and if you are stuck on some problem, then try to Google similar terms and you might see that, oh, this is a problem that can be solved by segment tree and I don't know what that is. Then you can Google about it, learn it, and then
Yeah.
try to apply that. So it's like learning on the fly basically.
Okay, so and there's another question in the chat that there are a lot of like code chef contests happening every now and then. So should we like attend all of them, or we could skip a few?
I think every contest should be attempted religiously. You should not skip any contest because you don't know which contest will go better and will push the your confidence. So attempt every contest, and if it goes bad, then take it as a feedback, improve on your skills, and yeah, and carry on.
Like if you are at your leisure, you can attend all the contests possible. Like if there is going to be like some important exam or a meeting, in that case you need not skip that and attend your contest. That is not love, what love is trying to say. At your leisure you try to attend all possible contests, because who knows, someday you might attend a contest and a problem which has appeared in the contest might be the interview problem you are going to face in future. Who knows, that might be a case. So attend all possible contests, and you need not attend contests from all websites. That is not what we are
Yeah.
trying to. You can pick some websites like, okay, I will start attending all contests from AdCoder and CodeChef, or CodeChef and CodeForces. Like that, you can pick a few and then consistently keep on attending contests. So that will help you a lot.
Yeah. For me, I used to really like easily give up while during practice. If it's a hard problem and if I can't come up with anything in 10-15 minutes, I would just give up on the problem and read the editorial. But if it's a contest, then there is rating, you want to compete with your friends. So you will do your absolute best to come up with the solution for the problem. And I could really push myself in those cases. So
So
yeah,
as you
so
mentioned that reading the editorial, so what is a good amount of time to like first try and then go for the editorial?
um, technically spend at least 30 minutes if it's a difficult problem. And then using the DFS analogy, if you have explored various branches, now you know that it is a bit difficult for you to solve that problem, and you can then go back and read the editorial and then fill your tree that, oh, this is where you couldn't solve the problem.
Okay, so there's one more question, which is that like a lot of first years and the ones who are starting out, what we do is that we solve the questions in which have already a high accuracy. Like if it's 80% accurate, we'll go and solve. So is that a good thing to do, or we should be like doing all of them, all the others as well?
In a beginner point of view, that is going to be really good. But in case if you are practicing like for a few months, and if you are practicing for interviews, in that case you must be trying to attempt all problems. And you should be able to split the amount of problems you are going to do in a single day into like easy, medium and hard levels. It is not that I'm going to do only easy first, then I'm going to medium. That is not going to be the case. You must be able to allocate enough time for easy, medium and hard problems, so that you would be confident enough in any level of difficulty while solving those kind of problems.
Okay, so Love, sir, would you also answer that?
Yeah, adding to Arjun's answer, like you have to be out of your comfort zone if you want to do something. So like doing an 100 easy problems might not be beneficial if you do one hard problem out of those 100 problems. So try to actually differentiate between like what Arjun said, like three easy, two medium, and one hard in a day. So that will be more beneficial.
Yeah. To add to that, like if you're measuring the accuracy of the submission, then if a problem has good accuracy, that means it doesn't have any like edge cases or anything. So it's good for beginners that you can try something, and if your algorithm is correct, then the code will also be correct. If the problem has low accuracy, then even with the right algorithm, you might miss out on some edge cases, and because everyone is missing out on them. So it could be a bit frustrating to begin with problems that have low accuracy because you will think that you have the right solution, but it's not working.
Yeah, also to
But
add
in the
on to that, if you are
yeah,
if you are going to attend an interview and in this get around 100 people who are attending, and if we have already solved only problems whose accuracy levels are around 80% and above, then it is highly possible that 80% of the peers who are going to attend the interviews will clear that round. You are not going to make an edge over them. So only when you start solving problems with low accuracy levels, you are going to have a better chance of getting hired in those interviews.
Yes, so sir, there's one more question that, is there any course or a book or something that you'll recommend to start with DSA apart from the problem solving?
There is a CSES problem set. You can visit the CSES website. Like that problem set is actually very good and covers most of the topics that one requires to kickstart. Like if you know basics of DSA, then you can go there. If you want to learn DSA, there is also one book of CSES, so you can start reading them. And there are nowadays there are many YouTubers who are making good content. You can consume their content as well to kickstart.
Okay, sir. Anyone else, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been my exact answer as well. CSCS problem set is the first place I would recommend to any beginner. I just figured out it around a few months back, and I am totally in love with it. It is because if you are going to some other site and if you are going to solve problems, you would find problems which repeat themselves. Like the idea would be same, and you will be having a lot of problems with the same idea. But that is not case with CSCS problem set. They have clearly picked up handpicked they clearly have handpicked problems which are going to be totally of different ideas. For example, if you are going to take CSES problem set of DP, each and every problem will be totally different, so that you are going to cover all areas in DP and you will have a good confidence level to start competitive programming or your DSA preparation for your interviews. And as he said, there are a lot of playlists on YouTube. For example, for DP, I have prepared from Aditya Verma sir's playlist. It is one of the best playlists on YouTube. And there are many like Raj Vikram Aditya Striver's YouTube channel. And there are wonderful tons of them on YouTube. They are all free resources and you can start consuming them so that it will help a lot in your journey.
Oh, okay, sir. So,
And
Mitsa,
I
would you add anything? No, please, sir, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
mean, that sounds like a really good problem set. I haven't looked into it. What I did, what I started with HackerRank and Code Forces and like filter out the problems by tag and then randomly pick few problems. Like if it's becoming too easy, then solve harder problems. If it's becoming too difficult, then come back to medium problems, something like that.
Yeah, I want to add one more point. If you want to learn a hard topic or that is not available easily, you can also visit CP algorithm website, or like you can also search on like the blogs on Code Forces, where the great CP programmers have written a blog. You can learn the concept from there as well.
There is
Okay, sir.
also another free resource which is called as a Competitive Programmers Handbook, which is freely available. If you just Google it, you will be able to find it easily. That is also a wonderful piece of free resource you can get online, which like has segregated topics and it will have some example problems listed out, and it will clearly explain you how to get started with the CP journey.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you for that. And so there's a question which says that what is a good time to start to do lead code questions?
I would say probably like 3 months before your interview, 3 to 4 months before your interview. Yeah. Lead code problems are generally not super difficult because they are interview level problems. So I wouldn't recommend like focusing a lot of time on that. Like rather do CP and then lead code problems would be really easy for you. You wouldn't even need to do half of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
as Sumit sir said, if you
Yeah.
are going to be a passionate competitive programmer, I will also suggest you that you start lead code in the last 3 months before your interviews. Otherwise, if you are clear enough that I'm going to do only DSA, no kind of CP, I'm not going to try CP at all. In that case, you can like, as Love and I previously said, you can every day start working on lead code. Like you can take 2 to 3 problems and you can start solving them.
Okay, sir. Okay. There's a question that, sometimes what happens is that when we are in a contest or just solving a question, we think of the algorithm. It's in our head, but we're not able to write the code for it. So, what should we do then? Because it gets really demotivating and frustrating as well that we're able to think but not implement. So, love, sir.
Yeah, there is no particular answer for that. You have to practice a lot for a better implementation. So, like CP is like a roller coaster ride. There will be lots of ups and downs, and you have to manage it. So you have to practice your implementation skills, like learning good data structures and algorithms, and making a good template for your CP profile, so that there will be an ease to implement that particular problem. Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, upsolving and practicing is going to really
Yeah.
help a lot. You after I have seen some people who have just figured out the entire solution, but they will not be able to come up with they will not be able to code the solution during the contest. But post the contest, they will go have a look at the editorial and they will be see like, oh, this is the exact solution I figured out during the contest. Why should I be practicing them? And they will go tell their friends like I have already figured out this solution, brah. It is not going to be something new for me. If this question is going to come again, I will easily be able to solve it. But they have never practiced that. Only when you sit down, practice, only then you will be able to get that in future contests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it depends on where you are stuck in implementing it. It's like if you've come up with the algorithm, but you have no place where you can start with, then break down your solution into different components and then think about implementing each one independently. Like it's easy to implement a smaller function than doing the entire 100-line solution. If you have written 90% of the solution but are not able to like finish it and get the answer, then then you will probably fail in that contest, but you should note down your mistake so that you don't do it again. And then also having good debugging skills will really help if we are making some off by one error. So again, having different functions will help so that you can reason about your code. If it's like a big giant 100-line function and all it's all connected, then it's very difficult to reason about the code. And for me, I also used to use like the debugger in Eclipse, which will show you the intermediate state of all the variables. So then you can see that all the variables are moving as you expect them to. Their values is what you expect them to be. And then if anything, if there is any discrepancy, you can fix them.
Okay, so one more doubt that sometimes what happens is that like we're moving ahead and we go to a new concept, but we forget the old one and then we solve a question and we're like, oh, I forgot that. So should we like just Google it then and let it be, or should we devise the entire concept and then move ahead? What is the way to go forward?
I can take that one. It's okay to forget the exact internal implementations of some algorithm, and you can Google that. I think that's totally okay. You cannot remember everything, but if you have really understood the algorithm, then you will never forget how to like apply it. So you should be good with that.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
let's say 2 year like right now, if someone would ask me how to implement some max flow algorithm, I would definitely fail at it. But if you give me a problem which has a max flow solution, I might be able to tell you how to use that max flow algorithm to solve that problem.
yes, love sir, Arjun sir.
I
Anyone?
agreed with Sumit's point.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that is exactly what I also wanted to say. Like, if you are going to figure out how an algorithm works and then you totally forgot it, when a new problem comes, it you can like take it as a new problem and just think it from scratch. But your brain will automatically remember somewhere you have seen this algorithm and it will be automatically able to figure out how it is going to be implemented. You need not memorize all implementations. You just need to understand how it works, and you will be then able to good to go.
Yes, so like there are a lot of things to do, but you all stuck with CP. So what is it that like interested you the most about CP that you like came so forward into it? Love sir?
Yeah. So CP actually helps to improve the problem solving and analytical skills. So this was the main motive to start with CP. And like I will not say like this will definitely help in clearing the interviews, as you are good in problem solving and you are used to see the new problems during the contest, and you can actually solve them. So in the interviews itself there will be no fear if you are good in CP. So, and the green tick, as I mentioned, the happiness and the roller coaster ride also. Yeah.
Yeah, after spending hours of thinking, if you are able to get that green tick, you're automatically going to be very happy. And as I said earlier, it was like a sport or a game to be. Rather than looking at it like academics, I saw CP as an entertainment stuff, which I would never be able to skip. It has become a habit sitting 8 o'clock on every code force contest and keep solving those problems. And I would definitely absolve it the next day or even the same night if I had good time.
Okay, sir. Sumit, sir?
I mean, when I started CP, I never knew that it would help so much in interviews. For me, the main motivation was get good ratings, compete with my friends, and ACM, ICPC. Those were the three main motivations. And then the friend part was something that really lasted. Like even right now, my roommate is someone that I met from ICPC. So
Okay, sir. There's another question that what language should we choose to do CP?
I can take that one. I did Java, which was a bit unconventional. And I mean, there were contests here and there occasionally where I faced problems because of like lower time limit in Java. But it was okay. It was never a big problem, at least for me. I guess C++ is the least resistant language. Like all the time limits will be set according to C++, so you would be at an advantage there. But it's not that big of an advantage, is what I feel.
Okay, sir. Arjun, sir?
Yeah, if you are going to be already comfortable with some language like Python, Java, C++, I would not disturb you. But if you are going to start from scratch, you are just now going to learn a new programming language. In that case, obviously, I would suggest C++. Just not just because, like Sumit sir said, all the problem constraints are going to be set based on C++. Other than that, you are going to have a huge community for C++ who's going to help you. Like most of the editorials, written editorials or video editorials will be out in C++. So there are also a lot of people who can help when you are stuck at some place. Like if you're unconventionally starting like Sumit sir in Java, there will be very few people who could help if you are going to be stuck at some place. Obviously, Sumit Verma sir would have been great, so he might have not required any help from others. So that is the case.
Okay, sir. Love, sir, would you like to add something to that?
My
Arjun?
points are covered actually.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, with that, we would conclude the session, but not before like any advice that you would like to give to the people who are just starting their coding careers.
I would say don't be disheartened. Initially, it will be a bit frustrating because you don't know the basics, and you might be stuck with simple issues like you don't know how to read the input or your output format is incorrect. Like all those really frustrating issues that doesn't matter. But once you get over them after a month or two, then is where it becomes more fun. So wait for that time. Don't get disheartened in the beginning.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, in
Love,
the
sir.
beginning,
Uh,
sometimes you might have come across few problems where using instead of long might be it might fetch you a wrong answer. And after the contest, if you see the solution, you might be totally disheartened. So please do not get demotivated. Keep on doing. The graph is never going to be linear. It is going to be exponential, as I already said. So when you consistently keep on doing without leaving gaps or getting demotivated, definitely someday you will see a huge improvement in your profile or your problem solving skills. That is what I would like to say.
It's like watching Game of Thrones. The first couple of episodes would just not make sense, but it's also why you will enjoy the next few seasons.
that is a great point, sir. Love, sir.
The advice that I want to give, that I already given, is please make a competitive group, a competitive peers group, so that you can never feel demotivated, and always have fun with your friends while doing coding.
Okay, sir. So, with that, we come to the end of our session. But before that, I would like to thank all of our panelists for taking time out of their busy schedules and clearing our doubts and telling us the right direction that we should be proceeding on. So, thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for inviting
Yeah.
us.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, Shweta, and I would like to thank the entire team of Equinox IIIT Lucknow for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And for everyone who's watching, thank you so much for joining in. And we'll be back next Sunday with another one of these roundtables where you get to learn and ask it out. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you so much, sir.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye bye, Sumit
All
sir.
the
Bye bye.
best.
Bye.
Bye.